Welcome to Uncharted and Unfiltered, the journey back to you. I am Cynthia Jameson, your host, and this is where we break free from the noise and dive deep into what truly matters you. If you're tired of the shoulds, the expectations, and the pressures to fit into a mold that doesn't serve you, you're in the right place. This isn't a podcast about easy answers or sugar coated advice. This is your invitation to reclaim your path, embrace the unknown, and become the bold, unapologetic version of yourself that's been waiting to show up. It's time to get unfiltered. Let's get started. Hello, hello, friends, and welcome back to Uncharted and Unfiltered, a journey back to you. I am Cynthia Jameson, your host. Welcome, welcome. And I am actually recording this one while sitting outside, enjoying the crisp fall breeze. Now, my sister-in-law was here for the weekend, and it was one of those times of slowing down, good food, good conversation, and soaking up the change of the season. There's something about fall air that makes me more reflective than I am by nature, I think. And it reminds me of how often we rush through life, always onto the next thing, when sometimes the real medicine is pausing long enough to notice where you are, who you're with, and the goodness of this moment, the moment that you're in. And maybe that's why today's topic feels especially alive for me because awareness, just knowing something, isn't the same as living it. And that's where I want to go with you today. And let me begin. Awareness is overrated. There, I said it. Now, I know that might sound strange coming from a coach. We live in a culture that worships self awareness as if the more we know, the more will automatically change. But here's the truth: awareness alone doesn't change a thing. If it did, you'd all be resting when you were tired. You'd already be where you want to be in your life. You would stop people pleasing. You would stop um, being free from the overwork and the overfunctioning and the self criticism. But you're not, and neither am I. And it is not because you are broken. It is because awareness without practice is like buying a brand new pair of running shoes and never taking them out of the box. Now, I'm using this metaphor because most of you know that I'm training for a half marathon and I will be running that next Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the metaphor just makes a lot of sense. And so let's just name the myth here. We are told that if we see the problem, that we will be able to fix it. If we can name our pattern, we will magically be able to stop doing the pattern. But that's not how it works. Now, I will use myself as an example. I have known for years that my parents mirrored achievement first. And this is not a diss against them. This is not about judgment at all. I choose to believe parents do the best they could, and they had parents as well, and we're all just doing the best we can. And I know that from my own experience, what I learned was there was work above rest. Prove your worth by producing more. And I can be fully aware of that, which I am, and yet still catch myself saying yes to one more project, one more thing, one more email, one more yes when I really mean no, when I'm already exhausted. So awareness alone doesn't interrupt the pattern, right? It doesn't interrupt the habit. In fact, sometimes it just fuels more self judgment. And I hear my clients say this all the time like, I know better. Why am I still doing this? And when we engage in that, we are using that awareness against ourselves. So, awareness without practice isn't growth. It is just self criticism dressed up as insight. It's another stick for us to beat ourselves with, which is just not helpful at all. And so, if awareness isn't enough, what is? It's practice. Small, repeated, intentional practice. And there's a framework that I've been teaching my clients, and it's the same one that I use in my own life, and it's very much aligned with this saboteur work, which is really around like, let's catch it, right? Let's just notice. Notice the old voice when it shows up. If it's telling you in the background, like, I'm not enough, I need to do more, this is not perfect, just catch it, and then name it. Naming it allows you to call it out. Like that's the old part of me talking. That is the hyperachiever part of me talking. That is an old mirror talking to me. And then question it. And you've heard me say this, unless you're new to the episode, you would have heard me say this. I question everything because even if it's true, it may not be helpful, right? But question it. Ask yourself, like, is this true? And even if it is, do I want to keep believing this? And then when you question it, you can question it for insight and just notice, how does it make you feel if it's true and if you want to keep believing it? And then think about, okay, if I do have a choice here, what do I want to choose to do? Do I want to step into my sage? Do I want to ask myself, like, what would compassion say right now? How would I treat a friend right now? If I treated myself like someone I love right now, what would I do? What would I say? And that's where the shift begins. Not when you see the mirror, but when you practice painting on a new one. And I just want to pause for a moment because my clients see this too. I had a client this morning who told me that she was telling me, just sharing her wins and what's working for her, just in celebration, because that is incredibly important work that we do when we work together. And the reason why is because we're building evidence for your beautiful brain on all of the things that you are changing, because your brain will always tell you you're not doing enough, you're not, like, there's always more, because again, it's trying to keep you safe. So when I was in my conversation with her this morning, we were coaching, she was saying, like, this is not about changing the situation, it's about rethinking the same situation. In her, the way that she described it to me is like, the circumstances, there will always be work. I'm inside the machine is going to keep producing. There is always that will happen. However, when I stop, when I notice, and I choose to shift my perspective, I actually feel lighter. It doesn't flip 180 degrees all at once, but little by little, practice by practice, I can change how I show up. Now, for this client, when we first started working together, they believed to the fiber of their being that they had to prove themselves in everything. That story ran in their subconscious, and now they catch it. They're able to rein it in. And because of that, they've been able to create so much more room, so much more expansiveness in their own mind for self kindness, for openness, for compassion. And because of that, openness and collaboration and other different opportunities. And I think the most profound shift for this client is that they have realized how rare it is that they pause to appreciate themselves, which is different than a gratitude, like having gratitude for yourself. Appreciation is something different. They're noticing that they are always chasing the next thing, always on to the next, which is the way that the saboteurs inside of our minds, those different parts of us that are wanting to keep us safe, that's the lie, right? Like, if I keep on achieving, then I'll be able to feel like I'm successful. Versus, actually, there's nothing stopping you from feeling successful now except for the way that you might be looking at it, right? And my client, once they named this new practice for themselves, which is, I want to give myself 5 minutes a day to look around, to appreciate who I am and what I've already built in my life. Now, that did not come from awareness alone. That came from practice. That came from integration. That came from doing the inner work of noticing what their brain was saying and intentionally choosing to challenge that, to question that, to name that, and to choose again. Now, I feel like this is relevant, so I'm going to share with you. I have in as a part of our living here, we have started, my husband and I, we attend a weekly park run. This is put on by Park Run. It's national, global, actually. It's just go Google it and it'll tell you all the things. I'll put a link in the show notes. But the idea of Park Run is that you show up wherever they have a park run. Is all led by volunteers, and you show up and everyone runs or walks 5K. Now, I say this because we do this every Saturday, and that's the time. It's every Saturday, 9 o'clock period across the globe. I show up at the start line with my running pals, my friends. And here's the thing: knowing the route doesn't make me stronger. Being aware of the distance doesn't change my fitness. The only thing that builds strength and resilience is putting one foot in the other, practicing rep by rep, step by step, run by run, kilometer by kilometer. And some weeks I'm fast. Some weeks I'm dragging. Some weeks I feel like quitting. But each and every time I return, my body remembers a little bit more. And that's how the change happens. Not from knowing the course, but from practicing it. And it's the same with our internal dialogue. It's the same with our internal mirrors. We can be fully aware of our own and old patterns, but until we practice choosing differently, nothing shifts. Awareness is the map, practice is the run. And here's the thing that nobody likes to talk about. Practice is messy. You will slip, you will forget, you will fall back into an old habit. And that's not failure, that's the path. Here's another example. Think about strength training. One rep doesn't make you strong. It's the repetition. It's the, you know, every time you lift the weight, it's every time you push up, it's every time that you do it. That's what builds the muscle, right? It's slip, catch, return all the time. And so if you hear yourself saying, which you will, oh, I'm doing it again. I'll never change. Which is what I hear when I'm sitting at my desk, when I know that it's too late. And I want you to pause and reframe because this isn't failure. This is practice. Every time I notice, I'm already rewiring. Progress is returning, not perfection. This is, one of the things that I say to myself often is like, thank you, brain, for letting me know that I ran down this little rabbit hole here and I'm going to make a different choice now. I'm going to pack everything up and I'm going to be done. And I'm not going to beat myself up for the choice that I made. Because the truth is, change does not look like a straight line. It looks like circles coming back again and again, and each time with a little more awareness, a little more compassion, and a little more strength. And so here's your challenge this week if you choose to accept it. Don't just notice your old mirrors, your old thoughts. Practice interrupting it and interrupting them. Catch, name, question, choose again and again and again, right? So when you forget, because you will, let's anticipate that, come back. That return is the work. That return is what changes everything. That return is the rewiring so that your brain starts to create a new path, a new default system, because over time, this gets easier. It gets easier. When you're starting it for the first time, it can feel like you're actually going to the physical gym, but it does get easier. And I just want to say that whatever story you were born into, whatever story that was given to you, whatever story, whether that be from your parents, from society, from your boss, from your organization, none of that is your fault. However, By rewriting it, by taking the pen and reauthoring your story, that is that's the shift. That's the gift. That's your practice. That's your power. And if you are tired of knowing better but not doing better, that's exactly what we practice inside of Be the Light. So if you are ready for more personalized guidance, more one-on-one coaching where we walk that path closely together, the links are in the show notes. And remember, awareness is a start, but it's not the finish line. Knowing better doesn't change anything. Practicing differently changes everything. So that is it, my friends. With love and light, I will see you back here next time, same place. Make it a fabulous week. I hope that you're walking away feeling more aligned with your true self, more confident in the choices ahead, and ready to leave the safe path behind, knowing you've got everything you need within. Remember, the journey to you isn't about finding one perfect direction. It's about trusting yourself enough to explore all of it. If you're ready to dive deeper, join me for the next episode and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss the next step on your path. I invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamesoncoach.ca, where we'll deepen our relationship and you can claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay true, and most importantly, stay you.